When I was a dumb little 6-year-old kid, I was wandering around a video update video store back in the glory days when you could actually do that kind of thing, when I came across one of the coolest VHS covers I'd ever seen in my entire life. Holy shit, that's awesome! It even had a lenticular cover, so when you moved the tape, Jack Frost would go from friendly to holy fuck, he's gonna rip your face off. Suffice to say, I was lured in, especially since I was going through a period of my life where I was renting pretty much any horror movie I could find. The movie starts off with an opening narration in which an uncle tells his niece basically the backstory of a serial killer named Jack Frost.
He'd stick knives in their faces and cut out their tummies, then stamp on their heads till their brains got all runny.
Uncle Henry, I don't think this is such a...
You wanted a story. You got a story.
I could see myself doing this to my kid and totally fucking up their life forever. This is why I probably shouldn't have kids. And then we see Jack being transported to his execution when we are greeted to one of, quite literally, the greatest movie crash scenes I've ever seen.
What the
Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Utter fucking brilliance. So the transport truck collides with a truck that just so happens to be carrying some kind of toxic radioactive chemical that splashes all over the killer, causing his skin to fucking fall off and his DNA to fuse with the snow. Okay, why not? I love the guard's reaction to this horrific sight. He looks more like he just smelled a fart and he's trying to figure out who did it, not that he's just watching a guy literally fucking melt right before his eyes. Meanwhile, in the small town of Snowman, really? A sheriff played by the late Christopher Allport is having PTSD because he was the man who arrested Jack Frost, and that's the only reason. Frost didn't kill his family or anything, he just kind of threatened him a little bit, and I guess he didn't like the way he yelled at him. Poor baby. Well, turns out Jack Frost is now turned into a psychotic evil snowman that looks absolutely nothing like the cover. Talk about some bullshit. He really just looks like 3 giant cotton balls stuck together with a frowny face. But you know what makes up for how stupid this thing looks? The voice of Jack, played by Scott McDonald, who some of you may recognize as drill instructor Fitch from the hilarious opening scenes of Jarhead.
Do you have a girlfriend, Swafford? Sir, yes, sir! Guess again, motherfucker! Jody's banging her right now!
Everything that comes out of Jack's mouth is a terrible one-liner or catchphrase, but it's so stupid that it's awesome. I mean, how can you top classics like this?
I said, who's out there? Well, it ain't fucking Frosty!
The kills are so fucking over the top that it's brilliant. It's got it all. You get a scene where a bully gets his head lopped off by a goddamn sled. A woman gets her face smashed into a box of ornaments. I was laughing so hard at this scene I almost cried. And Shannon Elizabeth of American Pie fame in her first role ever gets fucked to death in a bathtub. Good shit. Jack Frost can even shoot icicles out of his hands and grow icicle teeth. Yes. Though I kinda wish he looked like this the whole movie. I don't want to spoil the ending and how they end up defeating Jack because it's so dumb in the best way possible and needs to just be seen. Look, Jack Frost, the Mutant Killer Snowman is a really stupid movie, but it's one of those movies that's so dumb that it's a blast. You can't take any of this shit seriously. Don't be expecting some revolutionary slasher flick that redefines the genre. Just expect a fluffy snowman costume ramming an axe handle down a guy's throat. I mean, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Gosh, I only asked you for a smoke.
Here it is, the sequel to the smash hit Jack Frost that not a single fucking person on the planet asked for. This movie was a bit of a legend to me as a kid because the only reason I ever even knew about its existence was because of some brief clips of it online and some other random websites. Keep in mind, this was during the dial-up days still, so I never got to see this movie until, well, now. And how do you make a sequel to a movie about a killer snowman? By taking it to the tropics, of course. So a year has passed since Jack Frost, the Mutant Killer Snowman, went on his Snowmanton murder spree, and our police chief, Sam Tyler, is now suffering from even more PTSD than he already has in the first movie. He's convinced Jack will be back. So in an effort to get away from it all, Sam and his wife head off to the tropics for a fun-in-the-sun vacation, but little did they know that unnamed scientists have let Jack Frost out of his antifreeze bottle, and now Jack is literally trekking across the fucking ocean to find him. Sorta reminds me of Jaws the Revenge. That's not a good thing. Along the way, he finds 2 people stranded in a life raft and murders them for a carrot so that he has a nose. I'm extremely hard-pressed to think of a single likable character in this entire movie, with the exception of Jack Frost. Literally every person in this movie is some sort of stereotype, from the stupid sluts to the hardened FBI agent from the first movie to the Australian safari dude and this really fucking annoying guy named Captain Fun or some shit. God, I hate this douche.
Okay, archery for beginners in 1 hour.
What are you doing in here?
Captain Fun is chasing away the hangover drums.
Thankfully, some of the deaths are pretty awesome to make up for it, like this one where Jack somehow turns himself into an anvil and smashes this chick in a pulp.
Oh, fuck it.
Or this scene where a snowball fight turns into a bloodbath, but these are about the extent of this movie's charm. There's a really weird scene where Jack turns himself into ice cubes and a chick starts sucking on one of them, and clearly it feels pretty damn good, only to have her fucking head explode. Holy shit, honestly I jumped here just because the last thing I was expecting was her head to turn into a nuclear tomato. And you know what really sucks about Jack being the only likable character? He's barely in the movie at all. Sure, his voice is in there, but you don't actually see Jack in his full form until at least an hour into the movie, and then even at this point he's only in a few scenes and then disappears. But not before puking up a snowball that turns into a gremlin ripoff. So for the last good chunk of the movie, you have these god-awful snowball puppets running around, no Jack to be seen anywhere, while they slowly pick off the characters that I've been begging to see die since I turned this movie on. Look, the first Jack Frost was a really stupid movie, but at least that one was fun. This one is just bad. It's got moments of utter brilliance in the worst way, but it seriously lacks Jack Frost, which is why I even watched this fucking thing to begin with. Something I want to mention, and this is a spoiler, so you've been warned. At the end of the movie, there's a brief scene where a Japanese ship is sunk by a giant carrot, and apparently this is actually planned for a future sequel. Yes, Jack Frost 3 is supposedly going to be called Jackzilla and feature a kaiju-sized snowman. I didn't know I wanted that, but now I need it. I need it bad.
Play the movie. I want you to smile.